good evening to everyone present over here. Hope you all are doing well and staying safe. Greetings from the team, Petroleum Engineers Association. I am Niharika from Team PEA. Welcome to this free introductory session on project management Primavera P6 by Mr. Umesh, Primavera trainer with 8 years of experience as a trainer and a corporate trainer. Now, without wasting any further time, I would like Sir Umesh to start this introductory session. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Uh, so myself is Umesh. I'll be training for the Primavera project management course. I trained so many students. So we'll discuss one by one the topic, whatever I'm going to cover here. First, you can see here. So agenda. So first point is what you learn. So second point is what is a project. Then the third point is what is the project management. Then the fourth point is why project management. And next point is about Primavera project management. So these are the things what you are going to uh, learn from these slides. Now, one by one, we'll discuss what you learn. First point is suppose if you get a project. Now, for that project, how to control and manage the project. That is the first point you are going to have to learn in this, whatever the session you are going to have. Next, how to resolve the issues. So if you get any issues in the project, how you are going to resolve it and how to check the activity network charts. Charts are nothing but here bar charts, how the network will be formed for the activities of the project. Next, you are going to have the how you are going to learning the skills can work in a project. Okay, how we are going to learn skills by using the project as a planning engineer and or project manager. Now, what is the requirement? So basic project management knowledge you required for if you want to get trained by this software, you required basic project management. Then what what are the versions you are going to have? In Primavera, you are going to have from P3 onwards up to P6. 19 version is the latest version you are going to have. So under that P6 8.3 onwards, above onwards, it is a Oracle Primavera that you are going to learn. Whichever the version you are learning in P6, almost all will be same. Same in the sense you have whatever the topic we are going to cover, the same topic will be repeated for the all the versions, but some changes in the advanced version. Next, who this course is for. So those who interested in the project management, they can learn this software, or students or professionals or any working person in industries, whether it may be a construction industry or some other department also. So this tool basically not only for the construction but also for the other department also, like many oil and gas projects, some substation projects, electrical projects, different type of projects can be planned by using this tool. This is what you are going to have this. Next, what is a project? So what is a project is, so it is a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product. Suppose if you want to get a unique product, what are the things you required for the projects? So that you have to make the list here. So next, what you are going to have unique product is, if you want to start a product or you want to uh, convert the product, then what are the steps involved in the products? So this is what you are going to have in the what is a project. Next, project attributes. So what it contains. So it is having a unique purposes. It is a temporary. So we are going to develop using progressive elaboration and requires manpower oftenly from various areas, involves uncertainty, then organizing the activities that can be addressed within the organizations. So these are the, you can say, attributes you are going to have the in the projects. Then we will see the next point. Now, what is the project management? So this is very important here. So what skill you required, what tool you required. So you have main three important point here. That is, you are going to have work scope, resources, and timeline. These are the three important for the project management. How we are going to consider the different type of work for the your projects and whatever the manpower, material, and equipments are the required for your projects, and timeline. What is the basically timeline for your entire projects that can be monitored by using this project management skills. So basic skill is required to know about the particular softwares. Next, you are going to have important term is constants. See, constants are nothing but restriction made for the activities. Now in software, P6 software, we can give the constant so that the particular work to be completed within the time. So this project management skills, so we will plan for the projects within the time limit. So this management will uh, will will have the time duration and cost within the cost we are going to plan for the project. Okay, so this is about the project management. Next, what are the managing the projects? So how we are going to manage the projects? So responsibility persons, which are required for the projects, that you have to make the list here. And managing the projects includes identification of the requirements. Whatever the requirement for the project will be there, that should be identified here. And establishing a clear and achievable objects. Achievable object in the sense, whatever the final output you required for the projects, that is whatever the start and finish of the respective activities dates will be there, that you have to make here. And very important is balancing the quality, scope, time, and cost. This is very important. So here scope is important, time also important, cost also important, along with quality also important. This is very important. Okay. Next, adapting the specification, plans, and approach the to the different concern and expectation of the various stockholders. Okay, these are the things. Next important term is the triple constants. What is this triple constant? We can see here. So scope, time, and cost. These are the very important you are going to find in the projects. Scope in the sense whether the if you get a project, whether it is having a scope or not. Whatever the unique product you are going to start, finally you are going to give the output, whether it is having a scope or not. So that you have to decide that one. Next, time. So what is the time requirement for the particular works or activities? So that to be made the schedule. Means how much duration you required for the entire project, that should be initially planned. Next, cost. So cost, what is the cost required for the project? That should be planned. Okay. So next is, so project manager duty to balance these three options, completing a goal. So these three options, whatever the scope, time, and cost is there, time, time, scope, cost is there, that you should be managing to complete the goals. This is a triple constant you are going to have. Next, what is the role for the project manager? Okay, these are the different roles of the project manager. That is a person responsible accomplishing the project objectives, and you are going to have the meetings with triple constant by balancing the project scope, time, and cost and goals. Depending upon the organization structure, a project manager report to the functional manager. So like this, you are going to have different role of the particular projects. That is project management role. Next, you can have the several project management. We report to a portfolio and program manager that is ultimately responsible for the entire worldwide projects. In this type of structures, the project managers works closely with portfolio. Okay, so these are the different role of the project managers. Next, we'll see about the what is project management. So why is project management? So without project management skills, we cannot develop a proper planning of the projects. So what is the time durations? When to be started, when to be completed, each and everything we have to plan by using these skills. Without skills, we cannot plan the projects, whatever the requirement for our project executions. Now, next point is, now come to the software. What is Primavera? So why we are depending upon this software? So basically Primavera, it is a project management tool which we can plan the projects, and as per the plan we can execute the project. So this is very important tool if you want to complete the project within the time durations. Now here, so what is the time duration require for the project? Suppose if you start any project, say for example, if you go for constructions, if you are going for any building structures, what are the things you required? First, see, before going to the software, first you have to study the what you required for the your projects. Now, when you go for the construction of any buildings, what are the things required? You required some stages. What are the stages you required? So different stages of your project you required, and what the projects require is activities also. What are the activities you required, and what is the time durations required for that activities? How much duration takes the activity to complete that particular date? Okay, these are the things you required when you go for the software. So first you require the what are the activities? Activities are nothing but the work which is having certain duration to complete in the project is nothing but activity. Those activity you have to list, and how the dependence of those activity will be there, that we are going to implement in the software. Now software, how it is going to calculate? So we have so many methods we are going to calculate. So we have CPM methods, PERT methods. We have different methods to know the what is the dependence of our activities of the project. Okay. So regarding Primavera, so this is a you can see here why Primavera is there, even why Primavera also. So when you go for the Primavera P6, so it is a Primavera P6 Enterprise Project Portfolio Management, which accurately reflects the software scope and purposes. So this software will get the exact dates which you required for the projects. Means how, what is the time duration you are going to have, then start up and finish of the activity is going to display here. Okay. Now next is project management support, one of the crucial factor, that is condition of the project success. So if you are need a success of a project, so you should have the proper planning for the project that you are going to have. Now what are the things you required for the in the software? So that we are going to see here. Now why we required means to avoid the uh, risk. Suppose if you have a time duration less, so if you are not properly planning the project, what happens? The duration may increase, the finish date may be extended, or even cost may be increases. So unnecessary expenditure also increases. So overall cost, whatever the required for the project is there, it may be exceed the required budgeted cost. So if you want to know that one, if you want to minimize the risk, then we are going to use this tool. So here what happens, we can control the cost, we can control the time durations. So these are the things we can control. Then we can generate the different type of reports also. Okay. So now this is what you are going to have the why we require the this particular tool, Primavera. Okay. Next, very important is what is a project cycle. So what are the stages, different phases or stages you are going to have in a project? When you come for the project management life cycle, so you have five different phases here. So first, initiation phase, planning phase, execution phase, controlling phase, and closing of the phase. First, initiation phase, what happens? Here you are going to have meetings. What are the meetings you are going to have? So we are going to appoint the managers and team members in initiation phase. Suppose if I am going to get a project. Okay. So for that, what I have to do, I have to interact with the client. Then I have to explain about the projects. Then what are the things I am going to do? Each and every part I want to explain, and I will be studying the entire project. What are the work involvement will be there? Okay. So initially one plan is done, and we are going to send to the client. So when client check it out, all the whatever we had submitted the file, and he will start the checking all the things. Then if he satisfied with that particular whatever we had given the information, then he will say, okay, we will going to give the projects, then you can proceed with the work. Then second phase will be started. In the second phase, what happened? Planning. Now planning is very important. Planning in the sense, what are the work involvement will be there in the projects. So what works? So you have a different stages of the project. Under the stages, you are going to find the different type of activities. What are the activities? Okay. So here activities are nothing but the work to be completed within certain durations. Now, planning is very important. So, first you have to create the work breakdown structures. That is WBS you want to create. Under that, if you want to add the different stages of your project, so different stages you can add. Under that stages, you have to go to for the activity window. Under that, you want to add the activities. Whatever the activities you required for the your concerned project, whatever the project you are going to execute, that you should be making the planning. So when you are making a planning, what happens? you will get the you will get the relationship for the whatever the activities you added, how the activity is depending from one activity to the another activity. That should be made proper planning. So when you complete the planning, then you are going to get the each and every activity start and finish of that particular activity, when it is going to start and when it is going to complete, that you are going to have. So in planning, what happens, you will get the total duration of the project. Along with that one, we can get the what is the time duration required for the entire project, and you can decide whether the activity is critical or non-critical. That will be seen in the planning itself only, because after making a complete plan of the project, you have to submit this set of copy of the planning, whatever the planning you have done, to the client. So client he will check it out. Suppose if he is not satisfied with whatever you have done, so he will say that revise the plan. I need to complete as soon as possible. If he says, then once again you have to make the revise of the plan. Revise in the sense whatever you have done. So that you have to revise means you have to change the relationship. If you want to reduce the whatever the duration of the project is there, if you want to reduce, then change the relationship link here. Instead of giving the finish to start, you can give the start to start and give the some lag here. So here what happens, by giving this one, what you are going to get means the project duration will get reduced to certain point. Okay. After making the changes in the project, then you can send that set of copy to the one second client. If client says okay, then you will start the execution. So execution is nothing but whatever the plan we had made, we'll start the executing in the field. Here what happened means, before execution, before 15 days or 20 days, we are going to submit a schedule for the field engineer or site engineer or site project engineer. Okay, the person who is working under the site section, we are going to submit a planning engineer or project engineer is going to submit the schedule report, means what are the work involved in the particular duration of time. Now here what happened means in execution, so first before 20 days or 1 month before only, we have to send the schedule report for the execution part. If you're tomorrow you want to execute, today if you're sending, it is difficult to manage the manpower or material or equipment for the particular engineer who is working under the execution part. So you should send the schedule before 15 days or even 1 month before, so that you will plan as per the execution, whatever the requirement for the executions, whether it may be material or it may be manpower or it may be anything or equipments. If you require that one, you will manage. So you will manage that particular day to be executed. The particular activity means you will manage what are the things required for the execution. So that is what you are going to have the third phase, that is execution phase. Now in execution, after executing some certain work, you have to submit the report, weekly report or daily report. You have to submit to the planning engineer. Then you will enter in the software. This is how the construction company will act the work execution in the planning as well as execution fields. Next, controlling. So here controlling, what happens, we have we have to control the time. One is time, cost and resources. So these three should control here. Time in the sense within the time you have to complete the particular activity, we cannot delay the activity. Next, cost. Unnecessary cost should be avoided. So here you have to control the cost. Suppose if you are bringing some equipments, if you are not utilizing that one, then there is a wastage of cost. That type of wastage should be avoided. Whenever you require 2 days before or 1 day before, if you are bringing that equipments, then the cost will be controlled. Okay, then resource. In resource, what happens? You will have the manpower, material, and equipments. These three things you have to control. If you are controlling all the things, then the project will be executed safely without delaying of the project. Next, finally, what happens? Closing of the project. So these are the different phases you are going to have in the project management life cycle. Okay, so this will follow for any department, not only construction field. It may be oil and gas or mechanical fields or electrical or IT fields. Okay, these are the five different phases. The difference is the work nature of the compared to the construction work is different from other fields. Only difference only difference is only activities of the project will be different and stages of the project will be different. Everything software tool will be same for all the departments. The work nature of work involved in the project is different. Okay, next. Next, we'll discuss some of the regarding the software also, EPS and OBS. See, if you want to if you want to go for the first software training, so first you want to learn the EPS. What is EPS? What is OBS? So enterprise project structure. So here what happens? You are to create your organizations which have different projects or different departments or different levels. That is nothing but EPS. So EPS generally what happens, if you are working for any companies, you have to specify the companies. In the company, you are going to have different related projects. One we are going to have construction project, other we are going to have some different electrical projects, substations. Next, if you are having some other department, you will have the oil and gas projects. So like this, you are going to have the company with different levels and sub levels is nothing but EPS. Next, OBS, organizational breakdown structure. It is nothing but responsible. You can say responsible manager. Whatever the EPS you had created with respect to this EPS, you should have one responsibility person for that particular EPS. This is what you are going to have EPS and OBS. This initially you have to create in the software here Primavera. So why we have to create means when you implement a project at the time, both will be asked under which EPS you want to add a project and who is the responsible manager you are going to assign for the respective EPS. It is going to ask. So for initially you have to create this EBS and OBS. Now we can see how we are going to had a project. So when you had a project, what you are going to have, first step of your projects. So first you have to create the work breakdown structures. Work breakdown structure is nothing but WBS. So here you want to add the different stages of your project. What are the stages you required? Okay, those stages you want to make the list, add here. So this is nothing but whatever the window you are seeing, this is WBS window here. This is WBS window where you are going to have the stages and sub stages. Okay, so this is a what you are going to have project name under the main stage, under the sub stage, and this is the main stage and sub stages. Like this you want to create the work breakdown structure in the software. Next, we will see about the adding of the activities. How we are going to add the activities. You have to select the first particular stage. Under that stage, you can add the activities which is required for your project. Now we can see here, first you can see here in this column, you will find the activity ID and activity name. ID defaultly will get the some IDs and that ID will have increment about the 10 numbers. Say for example 10, 20, 30 like this, you are going to have the increment here. Now here, second column, you are going to have activity name. What is the activity name required for the respective ID? You have to specify. And here, third column, you are going to have original durations. What is the duration required for that particular activity? And the remaining duration. And next, your column, you are going to have schedule percentage complete here. And here it will display the start of the activity and finish of the activity. This is what you are going to have schedule. This is a schedule. So you can see here start 1st July 21, 2nd July 21, directly 5th July 21, 7th July. Already the relationship link is given here. Now this part area, this is nothing but activity area. where we are going to add only activities and specifying the duration and giving the relationships. And this is part is nothing but Gantt chart, or you can say bar area. So here, as per the relationship link, these link lines, these relationship link, you can use here this relationship link. Now here, after giving the link, it will specify the what is the duration, original duration, in terms of days, number of days. So it is going to calculate here. This is for the entire project, and this is for the particular site work, and this is for the earthwork. So you can see every stage and sub stages, they are going to have the total durations required for that particular stages. Okay. Now here, as per the stage, this black line is nothing but summary, you can call. What is a summary? When it is going to start, when it is going to end, when it is going to start, when it is going to end. Okay, already the whatever the activity name is going to display along with the bars. Okay, so this is what you are going to have: activity area, activity window, where we are going to add the activities. Okay, next we'll see about the relationship. See, relationship is very important, which plays important role in the project management. So first relationship, when you see here, it is finish to start. So finish to start means, suppose if you are having a one activity, after completion of this activity, then this will be started. So you can call here, we have two terms here. Okay, we have successor and preceders. Say successor is nothing but next activity, preceders is nothing but previous activity. We have two terms: successor, preceders. Successor means next activity, preceders means previous activity. Now here, if I consider this activity, after completion of this activity, and this will be started. Now next relationship, finish to finish. In this case, what happens? Both activity will be completed on the same date. So that is, you can see here, finish to finish. So this will be completed along with this. This also completes. The finish date of the both the activity will be same. Next relationship, start to start. Both will be started simultaneously. So this will be started along with this. This will be started. That is, both activity will be started simultaneously. And start to finish. Can you see here start to finish? Start to finish is nothing but reverse of finish to start. Reverse of finish to start means first we are going to start the second activity. This activity will be started. After completion of this activity, then we are going to start this activity. That is, reverse of finish to start is nothing but start to finish. Okay. So this is important role. Based on this important role, relationships, we can decide the what is the duration required for your project. This is about the relationship types. Next, we'll see about the planning, manual planning here. So before going to the software, we are depending on the manual planning. How we are going to do? So we have CPM or PERT method. CPM in the sense critical path method, or you can say longest path method, and PERT is nothing but program evolution review technique. So these are the two techniques we had followed initially. Okay. So what you are going to get from the CPM? CPM, whatever the software is there, primary software, or even you are going to have the Microsoft project, MSP also. These two tools are using for the planning purposes. In CPM, what happens? We are going to get the total duration of the project, and we can decide whether it is a critical or non-critical. So if you have a critical activity, then we cannot delay. So we cannot make any delay for the critical activity. And non-critical means we can delay for some days. That is non-critical. So critical activity will be displaying always red color, and non-critical activity always displaying green color. So here critical also you have the zero float and negative float. See, zero float is nothing but days. Float will be in terms of days. Okay. Critical in the sense zero float or negative float. Non-critical is nothing but positive float, and floats are nothing but days. Okay, so here what happens, whatever the total software is there, whether it may be a Primavera or Microsoft project, so both will be based on the critical path method only. So initially what happened, they are going to make big network diagrams. Planning was done by calculating manually by using the CPM method. And if you are having suppose 50 activities, okay, we can go for the network diagram. If you are having 500,000 activities, now planning becomes very difficult when you go for the manual calculations. Suppose if you have done also manual calculations, in case if any activity delay, then what happens? We have to recalculate the values, entire values. From where onwards it is delaying, rest of the activities we have to recalculate the values. That becomes more complication when you go for the manual planning. So manual planning nowadays we are avoided so that we are depending on the software itself only. Software, suppose if you delay any activity, then if you give a lag, then automatically it will recalculate the total duration of the project, as well as it will recalculate rest of the activities from where you have delayed the activities. Okay. Next, you are going to have PERT. This PERT method, we can decide the duration of the activity. So we have some formula. By using that one, we can decide the duration of the activity. One case will be there, or else we have already some sample projects are completed. If you are working for the company, suppose already some projects are completed. Based on that one, we can consider what is the duration required for the activity. This is a second case. And next case will be the expert judgment. Suppose if any expert person in the company is available, or senior person is available, you can take the guidance from him to decide the duration of the activity. Next, we are going to have two terms here: precedence and successor. That is previous, and successor is nothing but next activity. Okay. Next important term is total float. What is total float? If anyone asks what is a float or total float, how we are going to define this one is the amount of time taken by the activity can be delaying without affecting the project finish date. It means that one activity can be delayed, but when you are delaying, you should be seen that the project finish date or end date should not change. That is nothing but total float. Next, next important term in the uh, projects, that is resource. Very important: labor, non-labor, and materials. Now here what happens? Whatever the resource you required for the projects, you have to make the list of resource, and along with the resources, you have to resource. It may be a manpower or material or equipments. You have to make all the list of the resources, and based labor and non-labor. So when you go for the labor and non-labor, it is totally based on working hour basis. Suppose you are going to make the list of labor manpower in the particular projects. If they are working based on the day wise instead of day wise, or month wise, if you are working means you have to calculate by the day wise and hour wise. So here whatever the standard rates you are going to specify, you are going to specify in terms of hour basis. So here labor and non-labor is totally based on working hour basis. When you come for the material will not have any units, as material to material unit will varies. So for that reason, there is no fixed unit for the materials. So depending upon the materials, you have to change the unit of the materials. So when you go for the steel, it will be in terms of tons. When you go for the cement, it will be in terms of bags. So like this, different material will have different unit. You have to make the list of the whatever the unit you required for the respective resources. That is material resources. So this is very important resources. Next, next is baseline. Baseline is very important. We have to fix the targets. See, first you have done proper planning. You had completed schedule everything. You have to make a target. Target is nothing but baseline. First, you have to fix the baseline. So if you are not fixing the baseline, what happens? There is a lot of problem will be there in the projects. Now, baseline, it is nothing but copy of a current project. Current project, whatever the project we are going to work in the software, that is nothing but current project. Its copy in itself is nothing but baseline. So what is the reason behind for creating baseline means? So it will be useful to make comparison between the current project and baseline project. So what is the current project? Whatever the work to be executed in the fields, whatever the schedule you are going to submit for the execution part, that is nothing but current project. And baseline, its copy in itself is nothing but baseline. So here what happens, when you create a baseline, the dates and duration of baseline will be fixed. Means we cannot modify the baseline dates or duration. Whereas in current project, it varies as the project requirement. Suppose if you create a baseline, what is the plus point of creating baseline means if you delay an activity. So we can easily identify. the baseline bars as well as current project bars. If you're delaying, only current project bars will changes, whereas baseline remains as it is. It won't change the bars. And another point is we can create any number of baselines. There is no restriction that you have to create only 5 baseline or 6 baseline or 10 baseline. Whatever the baseline, how many number you require, that much you can create in Primavera P6. But in Microsoft project, what happens? There is a limitation up to 10 plus 1. 11 baselines can be created in the Microsoft project. Okay, baseline, it is nothing but target, copy, reference, or duplicate or benchmark is nothing but baseline. Next, progress. Now, progress is very important. So, progress is nothing but what is the actual work is completed in the fields. So, when you submit a report to the planning engineer, he will start making the progress because so when planning engineer start the progress, every weekly you have to submit to the client whatever is the progress of your project. So you will send a schedule report to the execution part. After completion of certain work activities of the work, he will send to the planning engineer what is the progress he had done in the field sections. Next, this person will input the whatever the requirement, how much work is completed, what is the remaining work is there, what is the target work is there. You will make a report. Okay, weekly report you will make, you will send to the client sections. So here what happens, progress is nothing but you are going to make the progress, what is the actual work completed, what is the balance work is there, what is the target work is there, how we are going to use this one, what is the schedule percentage of completion, how we are going to complete. So these are the things you are going to learn in the update progress. And even you can update manually by entering the percentage of completion. Say for example 10% were completed or 20% were completed, 30% you can enter manually, or you are going to have another option that is schedule percentage of completion. So automatically system will calculate by changing the data date of your project. Automatically system calculate the percentage of completion. So whichever the method you require that you can follow, then update progress. Then finally you are going to have the reports, how you are going to generate the reports, what type of reports you require, whether you require the cost related reports, schedule reports you required, anything which is required already default reports will be there, you can utilize that one, or else you can create your own reports. So this is what you are going to have the reports. So how we are going to generate the reports. Okay, so this is what you are going to learn in the Primavera P6 software. And I would like to show the software how it is going to display now. So is it visible? Software, is it visible? You can see here. Now this is a software where you are going to learn the Primavera P6 software. Now whatever the version I am going to use here, this is the latest version. That is Primavera P6 Professional 19. So this is what your G plus 10 residential building construction. This is a project which is already completed. Now we can see here, this is what you are going to see main menu of the softwares, and these are the some shortcut icons you are going to have in the below the main menu. And left side also some icons are there, and right side also some icons are there. Along with that one, whatever these you can see here, some activities are completed here. This is a progress. Left side part is blue color part. Can you see here? These are the activities which is completed, and red color activities are nothing but you can balance work or remaining work or critical work you can say. Now we can see these are the activities which I had. Before that activities, I want to show you uh, work breakdown structures, different stages of your project. Now you can say this is a what you are going to have different stages of your projects. So here you can see residential building, substructures, superstructures, ground floor, first floor. These are the different stages of your project. Next, when you come for the activity window, here we can add the activities. Substructure, what are the activities you require? Then superstructure, ground floor, what are the activity? First floor, what are the activity? And second floor, these are the activities you required. Finally, what happens? What is the time durations required for your project? Say original duration is 507, and you can see here. Okay, you can see here what is the percentage. Suppose I had made some progress. It is showing here, say this much percentage is completed for entire total durations. So 507 out of 507, remaining duration will be 492. So for that, this is a percentage of completion. And when you come for the substructure, so the substructure is completed about 35.2 percentage. Means total duration of your this substructure is 45 days. Out of 45 days, 30% of remaining duration is there. Means 15 days work is completed. For 15 days, this is a percentage of completion. It already calculated here. And you can see a start and finish date here. So start and finish you can see. Say for example, if you see this activity, now see here, it shows A letter. A letter in the sense actual work started. If it displays, for example, you can see here. For example, what I will do, uh, suppose if I schedule here some other dates. Okay. If I schedule for some other dates, if I make a progress for some other dates, now you can see. So here some part of delay is there, but here activity work is completed. So like this, what happens? So here you can make a finish date here. So like this. Now you can see here actual work completed. These are the actual work completed. 100% work completed. 100% work completed, and the remaining duration of this activity will be 0. Okay, this is what you are going to make a schedule and make a progress of your project. Okay, now I want to show the some uh, profile. What is the activity usage profile? Now you can see here. Suppose if you had assigned any manpower for your projects, how the graphical representation you are going to have. You can see here. Just you can just observe this one. All activities or selected activities. All activities. If I am going here, this is you can see here vertical bars. These vertical bars. Yellow color is nothing but budgeted total, and green color is nothing but actual total. How much you had covered. You can see here. Okay, this time limit is in terms of I will consider change the time limits here. Uh, Time limits I will consider week per day one. It will be yes, it will be comfortable way. Now you can see here the graph per day wise how much you are going to utilize here. So here it is very less here. If I go for individual activities, for example, individual activity, if I go, eh, okay, so you can see here. So here this site clearance already work is completed. So what it shows here, you can see here. Yellow is budgeted total. Actual total means it is 100% work completed. If you go for some activities which is having say part of work completed here. If I select here some activities, okay, some activities, okay, some activities, okay, okay. Now if I select this particular activity, you can see here. I will use this activity. Okay, so yes, here some color it is showing remaining labor. So here what happens? Okay, just I will make some changes here. It will be having say, green color, and this should be actually should be always in the blue color. Yellow will be the budgeted, and if you want to highlight target also you can highlight it. Now you can see whatever the blue color you are seeing here in the graphical area. This graphs it is actual work completed, and whatever the green color and yellow color you are seeing here, this is what you are going to have balance work to be performed. That is remaining labor units, budgeted labor units. See, budgeted means whatever we are going to plan for that particular activity, and if you complete certain work, and balance work is nothing but remaining labor. Okay, so this is what very important. This, see, every time the client will ask this, send me profile. What is the profile here? So what is the curve also? Cumulative is nothing but curve. See here you are seeing the some curves. When I see here, this is a curve. Can you see here? This is a curve. So what is the curve means? It is a cumulative units which is required for the activities of the resource, or overall project wise. What is the total duration or total cost required for the entire project? Now here, if you want to know the exact value for this one, just if you're double clicking, so it will shows the what is the cumulative units for whatever the you are selecting particular activity. You are going to have the cumulative of the curve. This is nothing but S curve. S curve is nothing but it is a appearance of the curve will be in terms of S shape. So we are calling S curve. S curve is nothing but it is a cumulative units required for the activities of the project or activities of the project of the resource or entire resource, or you can say quantity required for the entire project. If I select all activities means it will shows the quantities which is required for all the activities. So this is all the activities quantity you required. Like this, it is going to display here. So it is in terms of day wise is there. If I consider in the terms of month wise, it will be having very clear. So if I go for the time scale as month wise, week wise not month wise per week wise. If I consider here, now it is easily identical. Will easily identify. Can you see these curves? If you are having week wise means then it will be somewhat clarity you are going to get than the graph. Now directly you take the print of this graph and you can submit to the weekly wise reports, whatever the reports you are going to submit for the clients. So this is what you are going to have the profile and some you can see here resource usage profile also you can see if you are using some resources here, whatever the resource you are going to use. Okay, so like this. So when I use some here, okay, so project manager labor, okay, so like this whatever the you had used the resources, so here you can see here some resources I'm using, so that resources will be displaying here when I select particular resource. So here you can see some I would like to explain this particular material here cement. So you can see here uh, some are displaying in the red color. Can you see here about this black line? The red color is going to display here. These are nothing but over allocated early units. Over allocated early units means, so when you add a resource, when you assign a resource in the software, what happens? There is a limitation of time limitation of that particular resources. So when you go for the particular calendar, it will be in terms of 8 units per day or 8 hours per day will be the calendar for the default calendar for the software. But if you are exceeding the 8 hours in the file using the uh, activities, if you are assigning any resource to the respective activities, if you are exceeding that one time duration, then it is going to display the red color. Red color is nothing but we are going to use more than the assigned assigned hours for the particular resources. Instead of 8 hours, I am using more than that one. So that graph it is showing here over allocated early units. So yellow color is nothing but budgeted units which is planned initially. Then actual unit means if you've done some work is completed, and remaining early unit means balance work. What is the balance work is that? That is nothing but remaining early units. And over allocated early unit means if you are using the more than the required, whatever the assigned work units, if you are crossing that limitations, you are going to get over allocated early units. And that black color is nothing but this line, particular horizontal line is nothing but limit, means we cannot cross the limit. If you're crossing the limit, what happens? You are going to get the over allocations. So this is what you are going to have profile. This is about the resources. When you select a particular resources, then you are going to find the what is the utilization of work hours per day wise or per week wise or per month wise, depending upon the time scale what you are going to select. Okay, this is what you are going to have the software. Okay, sir. Hello, sir.